Good day. Today I want to talk about the Sibyls. The Sibyls were ancient oracles and prophetess established many centuries ago. They lived in what is now known the Americas until the Great Divide and until the flood when they began to fall. They were instrumental in protecting nobles and kings. They worked in hand with the Knights Templars. Some were known as Knights Hospitallers. They were responsible for collecting treasures, healing, astronomy, astrology, until little by little they were usurped by the patriarchy and put asunder. How do we know this? Well, all women share one particular gene, the mitochondrial DNA gene, which goes back to Eve. Eve was the first woman, as they would call it, but we say Isis. And my second slide. Isis reborn. And the Sibyls represent the daughters of Isis, Aset, reborn. Sibyls are healers. They are healers of our minds, body, and spirit. They dwell within all male, or she dwells within all male and females entities upon this plane. They learn, or we learn, to work with the elements of all women from on this plane. We honor the Kemetic principles of knowing thyself and or I self-law and master. We are on our journey to learn how to master ourselves. We honor nature and we rely on her to sustain and guide us. We nurture her and she in turn nurtures us. The daughters of Isis honor the Great Mother, known as the Divine Feminine. The Great Mother is the Divine Feminine, and she resides in all of us, male and female alike. After centuries of the suppression, we feel her rising again within our bodies and soul and mind and spirit. We want to get she wants to get our attention and reconnect with our divinity and become whole and balanced with our minds, bodies, and spirits. A little background. The Sibyls were recognized as oracles and prophetess. The daughter of Aset traced their lineage back to the mitochondrial Eve, as I had mentioned earlier. It is well established that only women carry mitochondrial DNA, which is inherent from mother to daughter. This is why women were put in charge of all financial institutions, and every other doctrine which is now being utilized by the male counterpart of the patriarchy. When patriarchy arose to dominance, it marginalized the divine feminine, creating a void between feminine and masculine identities. The masculine took control over territories, especially here in the Americas. It is possible they were unaware that these lands were considered sacred and blessed by the great divine mother and father. With the divine feminine diminished or excluded, patriarchy was able to exploit both the land and its peoples. All land within the Western Hemisphere were claimed by Christian conquistadors and colonists. Women were considered subservient to men in every way. Therefore, when the colonists came, they married into the bloodlines of the daughters of Isis, and all these were established under the patriarchy. Later known, they called it tying into divine, because they knew that the women were first and the women ruled over the land. They did not rule over the land for sake of ruling over it. They ruled over with their counterpart, the masculine, which created a greater union. Women lost their titles and position as clan mothers and tribal leaders. They were no longer stewards of the land. Therefore, the land became ripe for abuse and exploitation. Today, we see the damages this abuse has caused. Just look at all the homeless people and all of the land that's barren or burning or being exploited by digging or fracking. Those things are what caused the land to rebel against the people. So if that should happen, don't think that it's Mother Nature's fault. No, it's something that has come on the people because of their abuse and exploitation of the land. And the women served as healers and caretakers of society and the land. It was taught to me by my grandfather the significance of healing through nature. Utilizing nature's herbal remedies to minimize risk of adverse side effects. In fact, when the mind, body, and spirit are connected, they align with and instinctively know how the body would function and what's needed for healing. So with this little short introduction, I want to thank everyone for listening and tuning in and liking. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more content. Ashe.